Is Miss Jennifer Arroyo. Okay.
Are you going to put it on the website?
What?
The pictures?
Pak, data foto-fotonya ntar di di website.
Yes, we will upload the website.
Apa di sini bisa?
Itu bisa nanti dikecilin volume bisa. Yang putra. Pas.
Hello. Alright. Ready? Alright, thank you. Salamat sore. Nama saya Jen Arroyo. That's Indonesian for good afternoon. My name is Jen Arroyo, and I will be presenting to you our research paper with the title Populating Databases Automatically with Realistic Data Using Metadata-Driven Methods. So, that's a pretty long research paper title. So, you might wanted to call it Automatic Data Populator, or let's call it ADP for even a shorter term. So it's easier to understand and to recall. We can just use Automatic Data Populator or ADP. So, what triggered this research? I am coming from a software development background. Our team developed lots of applications and consultings, and we have clients in the schools and outside the schools. So also, as working with academe, we develop applications, we teach the students, and all those applications, we use data. And data are stored in the databases. So, if you need hundreds or more samples of data per table, it is too time consuming to populate the database manually. So as the developer, you wanted to focus on your application. Does it work? Right? But it comes with also testing the types of data that your applications is using, and to test your database if it can actually store the data that you wanted to use, right? Also, in software testing, we usually see this, lorem ipsum, alright? Or it's basically, we use that to test if our website or our design can display text, but that's just the very low level of testing our design. It's hard to actually do a meaningful QA if there's too little or no data at all that we can use or we can test in our application. So, with that, we have Faker libraries. So if you actually use Faker libraries, well, these are available as the intermediate solution to our problem. Alright? So what are Faker libraries? They are commonly called as Faker, and almost uniform name of this, and is also available in different platforms such as Perl, PHP, Ruby, and Python. So when you ask for Faker or Faker data, it can generate data for you to test, alright? And then, there are very similar functions in those different platforms. So it also provides an API for programmers that easily generate fake data. So, we have it. It says that Faker libraries can easily generate fake data. So, that's it. Problem solved. But easy is, of course, very relative. It depends from what your background and your skills and from where you're coming from. And if you have nothing, then having access to a Faker library is definitely cool. Alright, so if you've been using Faker libraries, alright, let's say you guys are cool. But, however, once you try to use Faker libraries for multiple tables and multiple projects, it breaks down bad. Breaking Bad. So who watches this film? Or this series rather? Anyway, so our research, the automatic data populator, this research proposes a metadata-driven methodology to remove the need for tedious programming for the generation of fake data and matching them to their respective fields. Determining what sorts of fake data is appropriate to create for the tables and the fields in the database is determined automatically by analyzing the metadata of your database. So, metadata. What is metadata? Metadata refers to the information stored in the database that describe the characteristics of the various tables and the fields in the database itself, or simply put, data about data. There have been publications in the past that studies different methodologies for dynamically generating test data. However, none of those have specifically examined the feasibility of metadata-driven approach, which is what we, the researchers, propose to do in this paper. So, let's just discuss some of the applications of ADP. One, programmers can use it to prepare their applications for a demo to your customers. Alright? The testers can also have a more effective testing of their systems with the ability to create arbitrary amounts of data in short little time. Alright? And as needed. Another thing is, it would be very useful simulation tool for database-driven systems. It can help system designers identify the potential bottlenecks by playing around with different parameters that they need. We also have data administrators and various sorts of development teams can use it to immediately verify and validate their database design. We wanted to achieve or retain the desired performance characteristics even when loaded with tons of data well before the database design is loaded into the production or in actual production data. Another thing, we have privacy policy. In the Philippines, we are trying to really implement the Data Privacy Act. This just shows as the developer that you care to your users, to your clients, and you wanted your users and clients to trust you as the developer. It shows that you have procedures in place to handle their personal information with care. Because you are testing with data that are close to real data, but you are not exposing the actual data of actual human beings, of their private personal information to the public. Alright? So that's one way. There are two major components of our proposed design. First, the library and API, and the GUI that comes with it. GUI is the graphical user interface wherein the users can interact with a web-based design and then try to tweak the data that we can generate. Alright? And the most important is the metadata-driven analysis. So, what are these components? First, the library and API and the GUI that comes with it. The research team picked common features of the Faker libraries and identified a list of at least 100 common data that goes to the database. So, for example, we have human names, human first names, human last name, titles and honorifics, countries, series